Hey everyone, so I was just at Barnes& and Noble, and there's a pattern that I've been noticing in the science fiction more and more lately. Um, now, it used to be that I would go to the bookstore, I'd go to the science fiction section, and I'd see lots of exciting things, lots of books that were like, wow, I really want to read that, wow, I really want to know what that book is about. Um, but then there was this trend for a while where I think it was especially during the years that Game of Thrones was popular on TV, where everything was just really nihilistic. Everything was just about it's dark and dark and dark and dark, and there's no resolution to it. Now, I don't mind dark in stories. There's a difference between being dark and nihilistic. So, with Lord of the Rings, you have a pretty dark story, compared to something like Narnia. Narnia is typically very lighthearted. It's got a good story to it. It's enjoyable. Um, but it's essentially a fairy tale with a lot of philosophical stuff going on with it. And a lot of very profound messages being expressed in a very simple way. Lord of the Rings, on the other hand, is it's very much a reflection of World War One. And you have this fantasy world that's seen through the reflection of the Catholic theology that Tolkien had. And so you have this very diverse story. It's great. You have lots of different kinds of characters, but it's this idea that the world is being overrun by darkness. The orcs are taking over. Sauron's army is everything's going. Pardon the overused phrase, but everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And the only way to stop it is, these hobbits, these little people, they have to get this ring to Mount Doom and have it destroyed. But like I said, in Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of diversity, but you have this, even in a world full of darkness, there's still that one star you can see shining. You have Samwise's speech to Frodo. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in Lord of the Rings. It's really enjoyable. So even though it's dark, it's not nihilistic. So these days, it seems like the trend that when I go to the bookstore now isn't necessarily a lot of very nihilistic stuff, though that's there too. It seems like it's trending more towards these woke books. Like, I was walking around and it seemed like it was book after book that was front and center, that was two guys who are in love, or whatever the case may be. And actually it was two guys in love quite a lot. Here and there you saw a few lesbian couples, and you saw some straight couples once in a while too, which, it's like, oh, that's a nice change. One of the books I saw in particular, I picked it up and read the description because I suspected from the cover. I was like, okay, is this going to be a gay thing because it's two guys on the cover? But you also don't want to have that modern mentality that, oh, there's two dudes, therefore they're gay by default, rather than maybe they're just friends, so, which is the way it should be. But I open it up and start reading it, and it's these two guys, and okay, one of them's a widower, and they're being put into arranged marriage, and they don't want to, and it's like, it was almost this, like, it seems like a Dune type of universe in terms of the type of space opera that was going on, where you have house this and house that, and there's these political alliances between these families. But I'm just like, I don't care. Like, that might be an interesting premise if it was, a male and a female, and she was a widow, and you might have something there, but even then, you got to give me a little more than that. You got to give me some actual story. So this is the trend. It's this woke stuff. Seeing like this, like, tarot cards and witchcraft for this clearly aimed at black females. Like, oh, this is the way to empower yourself, is playing with this stuff that's either nonsense or demonic. And it's clear propaganda. I'm like, this is not a story. This is not literature. Like, this is just garbage. And I've had that a few times where I've picked up a book on audible.com thinking, okay, this is going to be cool. And then it's just this like lesbian or gay stuff, and I'm like, and that's it. That's it. It's not that, oh, here's a character who happens to be gay, and you're writing about that, and you have an otherwise interesting story. Like somewhat like what we see in Star Trek, though that's, really a lot of propaganda going on there too. It's stuff where it's like, okay, I can tolerate that up to a point if you have some actual story going on. But some of these books, I'm like, okay, where is the story? Like, I want to read a story about, okay, you have these people going to this other planet, and oh, there's this mystery, with this pyramid, and or something. Give me something. Give me something interesting. But it seems like these days it's not even diversity anymore. It's not even about representation. I've had my opinions before about talking about diversity, talking about how to do diversity right in fiction. It's not enough just to spray paint a white superhero black and then pretend like you did this amazing thing when you have this one-dimensional black superhero. It's not enough to just have characters or different ethnicities. It's not enough to have these surface level demographic characters. Like, you have to have story too. But it seems like rather than getting deeper and more interesting, it seems like a lot of these things that they're pushing, they're just shallow, and there's no substance to them, and it's just propaganda. And I really wonder, we've got the Barnes & Noble right here. I really wonder, like, if this is the way that mainstream bookstores are going to go. There's that old saying, you go woke, you go broke. We live in a world where anybody can write a book. Anybody can publish a book on Amazon. They've censored a few books here and there, but pretty much anybody can write a book, put it on Amazon, and if not Amazon, there's other publishers, other places you can publish also. So if you want to write a book that Amazon doesn't want to have on their site, on their platform, you can have it on another platform. And yeah, people might have to pay a little bit more money for shipping, but if they want your book, they'll pay the $10 instead of the $7 or whatever it is. And they'll get your book and read it. We have digital. Everybody has a cell phone these days. A lot of people have tablets. So I mean, there's other ways to get books out there. Actually, that would have been great to get a picture of that. You got a prime truck driving in front of a Barnes & Noble. But anyway, so there's so many options these days, so you kind of wonder how much is the mainstream industry that's pushing this woke stuff, how far is that going to go? Especially with so many people pushing back against that nonsense. So anyway, I guess that's my thoughts there. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and live long and prosper, as Spock says. So back in the days when people actually knew how to write fiction. So thanks for watching this video. This is Greg, out.